Hello, happy stampers. This is Kate with Kate's Paper Creations, bringing you my weekly Casing the Catalog video and blog. And we are into August. Today will be the 13th, I believe, that I'm making this video for. And I have used the Whimsey and Wonder suite of products. And this is the stamp set, Whimsical Trees. And then it has dies that go with it, Christmas trees dies. And so there's the set. Lots of wonderful options in there. Just getting started. This is the first card I've made using that. It's a Christmas card. And the one, it's on pages 24 and 25. I think that's the only, yeah, just those two pages in your mini catalog that just started on August 3rd. And I decided to case this particular card, and I changed it up quite a bit, but it's going to still be a fun card to make. So let me show you what I made. This is what I ended up with. And you can see there's a few differences there, but I think you're going to like it anyway. I'm going to make sure I've got all my supplies out here. Not sure where that went. Okay, very good. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing I changed. Now, remember that casing the catalog, you can case it completely if you want to, just exactly like it's made, or you can use it as a jumping off place, like for a way the layout is, which is basically what I did here. Was just the basic layout and then went from there. So let me show you first of all this Whimsey and Wonder Designer Series paper. This stuff is just too beautiful, and I am so glad I got it. So this is the first thing I did, was change up what I used for that layer. And so this is one side, and I just want to show it to you. This is Blushing Bride with lovely silver snowflakes, and they just sparkle beautifully. And then this is the striped side that I used. Then there's this one. This color is the new polished pink. And then it has this side with the holly on it, and again, beautiful gold accents, so it shimmers really pretty. Then this one is the Mossy Meadow green, and it's got holly with little red berries in it. And then this is lovely packages with some foil sparkles. Isn't that lovely? This one is also Mossy Meadow on that side, and then just silver and white stripes, silver foil and white stripes on the back of that one. Here are some lovely trees with some glimmer in some of the trees, and the garland on the tree shimmers, and all just very pretty. And here's the back side of that one, and that is mint macaron. Then there's this one again with some foil accents, all kinds of wonderful baubles on there with some shimmer. And then the back side is Misty Moonlight, and there's stars and trees on that. I hope you can see it. So I wanted to share that with you because you're going to want to get this paper. It's just too pretty, and it's going to make some lovely, lovely cards. And some of it, like this polka dot one and the stripes with the silver and that, those, and this polished pink one and these striped ones, they'll work for any occasion, not just Christmas. So that gives you some versatility to it. Excuse me. So that's what I used for this back piece. Okay, here's how I made the card. Started with a whisper white. There I go again. Basic white. It's hard to break a 10-year habit. Some of us have been even longer, but for me it was 11 years, I think. So basic white, thick card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and burnished to make a side fold A2 greeting card. I know you probably get tired of hearing that, but I never know when somebody new to stamping is going to watch, and they're going to need that information. So there you go. Now, this is Blushing Bride cardstock, and I cut it 5.5 by 4 1/4 to cover the entire front of the card. You could, because this is a little bit of a lighter color, you could just make your base card out of this, but I prefer to have the inside of my cards white, so that's why I do it this way. So I'm going to bring in the stamp and seal, and we're going to attach that to the front of the card. I'm going to match it to the spine of the card, the folded side of the card, like that, and then press it down into place. That way, if I get it just a little bit off, like I did right there, you can trim that away. And you know what? Whoever receives this card is never going to know I did that, because they're not going to notice. It's not even going to matter. There we go. This piece is from that Whimsey and Wonder Designer Series paper, and it is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, so it leaves that 1/8 inch border of that Blushing Bride showing, and you turn it over and see those beautiful snowflakes and go, oh, I don't want to cover those up, but I have to. So, so here we go. We're going to cover those up. If you're a demonstrator, and I know many of you are, and you aren't on haven't joined the group Demonstrator Planning Place on Facebook, you really need to check it out. There are bunches of ideas by some very creative people there. Oh, I want to do it this way. And it's a great place to get lots of ideas too. Okay. There we go. There's that layer. Then the vellum layer is cut 4 3/4. And I changed that. I wanted it a little bit shorter, and I changed it on my card to 4 1/4. And I need to change my instructions too. Glad I saw that. So I'm going to cut this off because I want it a little bit shorter. I'm going to cut it to 4 1/4. So it's going to end up being 4 1/4 by 3. And you're going to hear some noise because I'm going to turn on my heat tool, and I'm going to preheat my heat tool for a little bit while I'm telling you what to do next. Then I am going to stamp the stamp Season's Greetings. And I got this. I wanted a whimsical looking greeting, and I felt like this one from Joyful Life was perfect. So Season's Greetings is the sentiment, and it came from Joyful Life. And we're gonna stamp it with Versamark after I put my embossing buddy on there to keep from having powder stick where I don't want it. Clean my fingers, get them so I don't leave finger oils behind. And when you're stamping on vellum, you just want to be sure and go set straight down, and it'll slide really easy if you aren't careful. So you just got to be careful to set it straight down. I'm not putting it straight on the card. I'm going to give it just a little bit of an angle. And let's see, I'm going to put it right about here. And just press it down once and bring it up. And then I am going to put silver embossing powder on this. Get my little tray here that's going to catch my excess. And my little spoon. These things are so handy. Okay, and you've got time to, I guess I better put my extra back in the bottle. And put the lid on that. Put all that back in my case. Get that out of the way, get the Versamark out of the way. And now we're going to heat set this. I'm bringing it in and out a little bit because I'm trying to minimize the when you're heat setting vellum like this, it can make it wrinkle, can make it curl up, and I wanted to keep that to a minimum, and the way you do that is just to not get it so hot, and yet you still got to melt that embossing powder. And so that's silver embossing powder, and it comes in the metallic embossing powders group, which has gold, silver, and copper in it. And it's in the main catalog. So there's my greeting. Then this is the snowflake that comes with, it's got a little Chad there we got to get rid of. Where'd it go? There we go. They're called Wonderful Snowflakes. And I'm glad I got them. They're really pretty. One side is very shimmery, got a kind of a shiny side to it. Then the other side is a matte white, so it would be really easy to color if you wanted to. You could turn it over and color it. I'm just going to put the shiny side up. I like it. And I am going to just use a glue dot to do that. It just needs one right in the center. And I will get one glue dot here. And I'm going to put a glue dot on the back side. So I get my shimmery side and my matte side. I'm going to put it on the back side right in the middle. It doesn't need any other help. And I'm going to place it, I'm going to hold it here so I can see where it's falling as far as that goes. I'm going to keep the Season's Greetings kind of centered. I hope you can kind of see that. Get the lighting just right. And that's where I want it to be. And then I want this to be approximately here. So then I can just kind of see where to put it. And there it is. Okay, then to attach this, I actually used the 1/4" tear and tape. And I was pleasantly surprised to discover that it really didn't show that much on my card. And so I was really glad to see that. I'm going to do it again. And we will hope that I get the same results. And I just put a strip across the top. It does not need to be totally held down at the bottom. Sometimes it helps to run a little bit of a burnish over that so it'll stick to the paper and not to the strip, like it's wanting to do here. There we go. And now we'll place this on here. And we're just going to come a little ways down from the top and center it over the snowflake and from left to right on the card. I'm hoping I got that in the picture. There we go. And press that down. Now it might show a little bit, but I just don't have a problem with it. I think it looks fine just the way it is. Okay, now the trees. The trees are using the dies. There's a die for the tree and a die for the little garlands that go on the trees. I cut one garland each from Mint Macaron, Blushing Bride, and Misty Moonlight, which are the colors in the designer series papers. And I'm going to bring in a piece of scratch paper. This will work. And my Wink of Stella. And I am going to Wink of Stella each of these little garlands so that they have a little bit of a shimmer. Now you may not have been able to see that in the video, the shimmer, but it really does make a difference. And it just adds to the cuteness of the card. And so yeah, I really liked it. So there's one. We'll scoot that off to the side so it can dry and get the next one. And they're going to need a second to dry, so we'll do those, and then I'll show you the trees and what we're going to do with those. I could hold this in place with something, then it wouldn't be getting away from me. Heavens to Betsy, try and remember to do something simple. And there we go, there's that one. We'll push that off to the side. And here's our Misty Moonlight piece. And we'll get some shimmer on that. I'm a Wink of Stella fan. I really like this stuff. I use it quite often. There we go. And we'll set that one aside to dry. Okay, get rid of that. And here are my 3 trees. I cut them out from the new Snowy White Velvet. It's got a little bit of texture to it, and it just added some depth that I can't describe. You have to see it for yourself to see it. But it adds a little bit of depth to the pieces that we cut out. And so I just cut out 3 of those trees, and I am going to attach one of each of these to it. And again, I need a piece of, I'll get my silicone sheet. That always comes in handy for gluing. And I'm going to use my Zig 2-way glue pen. It's a non-Stampin' Up! Item, but it is my favorite for doing these small things, unless you use the double-sided adhesive, which is awesome if you remember to do it. I don't seem to ever remember. And so anyway, this is my Zig 2-way glue pen. And I'm going to put it on fairly heavy because I'm going on to that textured and fuzzy, and I want it to stick well. And then we're just going to add it to the tree. And it's not going to fit perfect. It's not meant to. So you will see some of the edges go off the edge of the tree. And that's okay. Now we'll do this one. This is the Blushing Bride one, and we'll put that one on next. Stick it down. And the last one, the Mint Macaron. I kind of like those videos where they have the ability to do voiceover and all that. I've thought about trying to get the equipment and the software to do that, and I just haven't done it. You know, when you do it with me, you just kind of get the real thing, and there's no very little editing, if any, and I hope you still like my videos. Okay, so there's those 3 pieces. Give them a minute because I'm going to get a baby wipe here. I'm going to wipe the glue off of my craft sheet, my silicone sheet. I'm going to put it away. Okay, now I'm going to stick these trees to this vellum, and I'm going to do them with dimensionals. So we're going to turn them over, and I just used the minis on these, and I put one up towards the top and one there and one there, and all 3 of them are going to be dimensionalized. Don't you love that word? When I was in high school, I played the scientist in Little Abner for an operetta stage performance. And one of my lines, I didn't have very many lines. I sang one song and I had 1 or 2 lines. And one of my lines was, "What is a mass spectrographic isotopic double diathermal diaphonoscope anyway?" Now, I've been out of high school, I think close to 50 years, but that phrase has stuck in my head. Now, don't ask me to recite the periodic table, but I've got that's like in my brain forever. Okay, now I'm going to stick these onto the vellum, and I'm just going to line up the trunk with it, and I'm going to put the middle one on and center it, and then just put the others on with it, like this, and like this, so that they're all just right there at the bottom of the vellum, and we'll press them down into place. And then if you're concerned about this flipping up, you can come back with a couple of glue dots. And now that you know, and actually you could put a strip of the tear and tape across, but now that you know where the trees are going to be, you could put a piece behind because it'll never show, and a piece behind where I want you, right there, and then you can press that into place, and that'll hold your vellum so it won't flap around if you're concerned about that. So there is my casing the catalog. It does look quite a bit different, but in a way it's a little bit the same. It's just kind of fun to see what you can come up with when you start getting your creative juices flowing. So I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I would love to be your demonstrator if you don't have one. And if you're interested in knowing more, please message me and I'll get in touch with you, and we will chat about how you can shop my online store and purchase from me. And so all of that please consider doing that. Thanks again for stopping by. You have a wonderful day.